Very good evening. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். Please clap. He's clapping, others also would clap for my coming. This is a very unique launch function where my both sambandhis are here. Mr. Rajaraman, Mr. Krishnan Kalyani. And I'm happy they were there in the earlier launch in Rajbhavan also. What is even more unique is that grandchildren present for a launch function of grandfather, both Kirtana and Gautam, they came from New Jersey last week, they are here. I said, I cannot come there, I'm directly coming to the hall and going back again to Hyderabad. So they came here, probably it's first time grandkids coming to grandfather function. And my MMA association, 94 when I came to Chennai to head Simrise as CEO, from that time, 11 years I have been the member of MMA, and they made me secretary and the governance report and so many other things. That was truly phenomenal. I must admit that there is no other management association as vibrant, as energetic, as which really adds value to the participants. Because in Hyderabad Management Association, with all due respect, I got elected. After a month, I resigned because I didn't like the professionalism. What I saw here in MMA, phenomenal. Same way, next, of course, close is AMA. Then I went to Lucknow. I became their LMA. We tried to strengthen, but this is something very difficult to surpass the standards of MMA. Thank you so much, Vijay, for agreeing to launch today my book. It's actually, I became an author because of MMA. I left Madras because of MMA. But I got my name and fame in the last 20 years only because of MMA. The reason is December 2003, Dr. Kalam, when he came here to MMA in Taj, Coromandel, I met him first time as the committee members. I met him once. I didn't realize that he'll invite me to Rashtrapati Bhavan later when I was CEO of EMRI. When I met him and later, I could not imagine that President of India will come to my house for dinner, and then met him at least 50 times. Those 10 years of association with him was phenomenal. So when I left EMRI full time in 2011, Jan 10th night, he rang up at 10:30 and asked me, what will you do tomorrow morning? I said, I'm crying here for losing the job and you're telling me what will I do tomorrow morning. What about today? Why don't you ask me why you left? I don't want to ask why you left because that I cannot reverse. But what you will do tomorrow? I said, I will not tell. I will tell you, he said. I'm dictating now. From tomorrow, you will be a teacher, you will be a mentor, you will be an author, and start working with governments for the benefit of people. From that time till today, last 20 years, I'm happy that I listened to him and at least gave 676 lectures in the last, from the time he told me 15 years. So many training programs, and wrote first book, Manage, Live and Lead. People know how to manage, but they don't know how to live. Unless you live, you cannot become a leader. He should have had a good life. I gave him the very first copy and touched his feet on 8 September 2014. Then Rose Garu launched as a governor here. Javadekar launched there as a HRD minister. Then I wrote after 10 years my second book called BL to BM. The concept is that this is the first book, Manage, Live and Lead. I have only 20 copies there outside. But this one is BL to BM. On my 70th birthday, I launched this book. Basically, I studied a benchless school, how I became a benchmark. Just to confuse people with all the IT guys, I thought I should name it in such a way people don't understand straight away. So BL to BM, I said, benchless to benchmark. I thought I should leave a legacy behind Because my grandson one day asked when my wife said he has gone to work. He said, he also works, is it? He said, Gautam, you remember, you said, does he work also? He said. So I thought he should know what I have done in my 70 years from my childhood, how the childhood influences you, how the primary schooling influences you throughout your life, your choices, then each of your jobs, and later my 20 years of working with 16 governments, how that worked. Finally I said how family is important for you to become a benchmark. You can become benchless state sometime, but how do you become a benchmark from that with the family support? That kind of thing I wrote in that. Then one day my son told me he's in HR head in Alcon. He was saying the US guy coming and reviewing me. He works in Taipei. Daddy, how these Americans review? He asked. That is the time I thought, why not I write a book on reviews? So, how leadership style influences reviews. So I wrote this book in that context. Thank you, Suri, for being here. I seeded the idea of MMA Suri when he came to meet me in my office. And I'm happy that today I have my classmates from Chirala, my school. Raghav is there. My IMA classmate Vishi is there. And Anita, whom I met recently in the airport, she was wondering, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Then we realized we are Anita Gupta. Then, of course, all my Simrise colleagues, Amar, Anand, Lakshman, you guys, Shankar, and thank you so much for being here. And more importantly, CKR's company Trends, Hannah is there. I'm happy that whom I mentored the team entirely. See, it's a fantastic coming today. Exclusively, I flew only afternoon flight I took here, going back on a personal trip to launch. I thought this place made me what I am. I should give back, share with them what I did through this book. MMA immediately asked me, the moment I said I want to launch the book, we have seen your 108 videos on the YouTube. In the COVID time, instead of just only looking at each other, I thought let me look at the camera and produce 180 videos of 4 minutes each and average 3 to 4 on the entire management topics, life skills topic, leadership topics, all that. And people don't see these days beyond 3 to 4 minutes. So those videos are meant for education. I'm happy that you want to use them. Please use them. Thank you so much, CKR, for being here today. Mr. Anadurai, when Star was there, I was unhappy. The star below says yet to confirm it. That I'm glad you are here. And Raji, thank you for being here. And of course, Mahalingam for being here and introduction. Thank you so much. I have 31 years of CEO experience from 94 to till today. I've been a CEO, I've been advisor to 6 state governments, to the chief ministers. Ultimately, I realized private sector, non-profit sector, or governments, review execution is the most important litmus test for success. There is no other test. So time and again, highly capable CEOs, that June 2000, Fortune magazine mentioned how 500 CEOs lost their jobs, though they had intellectual brilliance, analytical acumen, conceptual clarity, exceptional communication skills, but still they lost their jobs because their commitment to execution was poor. They didn't have those capabilities. Single critical differentiator for me to stand here today, whether in the corporate sector here in Simrise, from 2 crores to 130 crores, or in EMRA from first ambulance to 3,200 ambulances, or in UP, where everybody told me, don't go to UP, naam badnaam ho jayega, if you go from south to north to Lucknow, that too. But I said, एक आदमी दक्षिण भारत से उत्तर भारत आके गंगा में डूब के पाप सब यहाँ धोके दक्षिण भारतीय लोग वापस जाके पुण्य दक्षिण भारत में करता है, बट लेकिन मैं पुण्य भी यहाँ लखनऊ में करेंगे करके यूपी में किया. एक पैसा नहीं खाया अकॉर्डिंग टू अखिलेश यादव, एक पैसा हमको भी खाने को नहीं दिया. 2,200 crores project. All this is execution. All this IIM, SHIM, all that will not work. Ultimately, rubber has to touch the road. That ambulance, when you call, it has to reach you, period. And I'm happy that today Lakshman from Simraj is telling that Kevin Care has given an award to them for delivering as promised on time. I'm happy. That is the thing which is required. For leaders, execution is not optional. That is not a separate job. In the olden days, planning was a separate department which used to sit next to CEO. There is no such separate planning department. It is not optional. It is integral to the strategy. And it has to be embedded in the culture of the organization. I remember in Simrise in the beginning, I used to go down to pick up the paper, small litter there in the factory, I used to remove it so that people learn how to keep the factory clean. But execution is a combination of multiple factors. Strategy itself starts with, but how do you communicate that strategy in a clear way? How do you coordinate? How IT supports? How people issues are resolved in time? How decisions are taken in time? And how you are adaptable to the change compared to the plan actually in the field, what's happening. Most importantly, regular review meetings is the thing which is required. In my last 31 years, 31 to 12, that 370 review meetings I didn't miss. First week, usually 5th of the month, review takes place. People reporting to me. Meeting starts at 9:30. Nobody knows when it ends. First guy, I will take 3 hours, 2 hours also, it can happen. Because the message is meant for other people also. The message what I am giving to first guy is meant for others also. From my 3 decades of experience of conducting and participating in the review meetings, I observed that this is the cornerstone of successful people, nothing else. But unfortunately, it was not documented much. It was not written much. I thought I shouldn't die. Nobody will accept me upstairs if I have not exposed to people on the review meetings enough, because it's not documented so much. Fantastic benefits of reviews, whether it calls action plans becomes at the end of the day, who has to do what? Some decisions are taken in the review meeting, conflicts get resolved, feedback is given to people, there's learning, problems which are below the carpet comes to the surface. Team building happens, motivation happens in the review meetings. Now, in this book, first time in the world, 18 authors are there. I am the main one. 17 more people have written. 30% of the book is written by 17 people who reported to me in the last 31 years. They wrote how they suffered and how they gained in the review meetings. Common across, whether I worked in government or private or non-profit, common factors are very, very clear. Maybe we'll discuss during question hours. It is 108 pages. I didn't want to leave my 108. Book is 108 pages. But I stopped the book after 100 pages because my UP 100 was police 100 number. But how to do balance 8 pages? I kept the notes. Review is nothing but writing down notes. Whatever digital things have come, you have to jolly well write down what boss is telling you with your handwriting. I kept deliberately notes at the end. And there were endorsements from insurance CEOs, Apollo Sangeeta, then many others. It took around 30. Book writing, please don't write. If you want to become an entrepreneur, make some profit, don't write a book. It's not meant for you. What is non-profit you want to know, write a book. It's not, but you want to share knowledge, your passion, write a book. Nothing else. There are prologue, there are 10 chapters, and there is a end of the book, there is a closing reflections, and At the end of each chapter, I wrote a key message. What if you don't read one chapter fully also, at least read that one message at the end of chapter. One person whom I mentored when he was a medical rep in MSD, he became managing director of MSD. And now today, he is the chairman of Punjab National Bank. He wrote in this book, when he became MD of MSD, he asked me to mentor entire 32 people in his organization. I mentored CKR's team quite a bit. First of all, I owe it to Sringeri Shankaracharya, because every time when I go and meet him, he says, what is the project you are working on? He only says, I pray Goddess to give you health and strength to serve others. I think these HR guys have spoiled us by saying this word, work-life balance. There is no such thing, work-life balance. What is life? Unless you define that. Life consists of you, your family, and somebody else is there. That was not defined. If it is a triangle, if you take work as a base of the triangle, self if you take on the left side of the triangle and the family on the right side, there is something in the center other than these three. Unless that center also grows along with you, work growing, you not growing, work growing, your family not growing, is no use. But along with these three, do you also contribute to success of somebody else outside you? That's what my father told me on Jan 22nd, 2005, when MMA convention happened. When I talked to my father that Ramalingarazu is asking me to join this non-profit organization, I am not interested, I said, but he is calling me. He only asked me, what gets written after your death in your obituary? My father, a school teacher. I said, they will write that, MMA annual convention I did. And I did MMA governance document, and my sons went abroad, and my, 108 started. My 5 has got some gold, and we have got houses, all this. He said, nothing they will write. What they will write is what you have done to somebody whom you do not know, who is not related to you. A fraction of your knowledge, fraction of your skill, fraction of your money, fraction of your time, if you are given to somebody, that's what gets written in your obituary. I thought that's what I was writing in these books, to share to others whom I do not know, who can read and learn. So Swami told me, Sringeri Shankaracharya told me that only do for others, I continue to pray. Dr. Kalam for having made me author. 4 chief ministers with whom I closely worked, I wrote about them. And 17 co-authors. And of course, all this Pagalpan tolerating, my wife tolerating me for all that, thankful to them and the family. This book has got importance of execution in the first chapter. Then what are the essential qualities of a reviewer? Why agility is important? How flexibility is important for a reviewer? What are the managerial skills like decision making? How important is a guide for the reviewer? 9 life skills I wrote. How do you respect a woman? If he doesn't know how to respect a woman, he cannot be a best reviewer. Leadership skills in terms that visioning. If the guy is not a visionary, he cannot review. If he is not an innovator, he cannot review. Then I said the 6 leadership styles, each one of them influence the reviewer, how he participates, how he conducts the review meeting. If he's a coercive guy, the review meeting is only a coercion. If he's a pace setting guy, he says, I have done like this, you also do like that. If he's a coaching guy, he keeps on mentoring you. How to conduct review meetings, first of all. Because in the governments I attended, Tamil Nadu to Andhra to Karnataka to every state I go, different meetings. People don't come on time. If they come on time also, one man only speaks, others keep quiet. I cannot ask questions. When Rashekar Reddy said, I will fund 100%. I said, sir, I have a question. 14th August 2007. When I raised my hand, all bureaucrats next to me said, hey, don't raise your hand before CM. CM tells you have to listen. You can't ask any question. Because I asked him that day, sir, if you fund, you want the ambulance to be in front of your house. If you fund, you will tell me to take your people. Do I have freedom of recruitment and procurement and operations? What else he will say before 30 people? He said, of course, yes. Then I went to Modi, same thing. I asked him, he said, of course you will have freedom. Finally, I had freedom in all the 12 states. Only by asking them, instead of keeping quiet like other review meetings. Then I wrote about my 3 bosses. When I was in Simrise here, my German boss, how he reviewed. When I was in EMRI, Ramalinga Razu, how he reviewed. When I was in IIB now currently, the boss who recently retired, Mr. Panda, how he reviewed these 3 styles I wrote. And then these 4 chief ministers, Rajshekar Reddy to Akhilesh Yadav to Modi to Chandrababu Naidu, how they reviewed in the meetings. And most important takeaway for me, this book is keeping those notes at the end. To send a message, writing down is important in a review meeting. I would request any of you to pick up 1 page number, 2-digit number you can pick up and tell me. It can be year of birth. It can be your date of birth. It can be year of marriage. It can be your ex-girlfriend's. Because the ex, when you say recently, one small boy of 3rd standard or 4th standard, he was asked a question, 5 multiplied by 5 equal to x. Find x. This is what teacher asked her. This boy is writing back to teacher, you better find your x, don't ask me to find your x. You move on in your life and don't forget about x. I think that's the kind of generation we have to deal with. So please, one pick up one number. 30. So leadership requires for an effective reviewer, I wrote first thing is, out of leadership, the first thing required is visioning. Visionary leaders are pioneers. They only see opportunities where others see obstacles. And they act decisively even with limited resources. So CKR is there in front of us. What he made from what to what level, from what he comes from a small background, Kadlu to here. But what he did is here. Like that, in India has shown so many entrepreneurs. With all this, at that time, a liberalization happened. Every entrepreneur thought Bombay Club and this and that. But today, there is no such club. All of us grow. And more than them, the Indian entrepreneurs grow much, much faster and much to a greater level with speed and size. Yeah, thank you. Any other number? 77. That is the year in which I passed out from Ahmedabad. My executive assistant, Bhavani Shankar, in 2005 to 11, later he became secretary he worked with IT secretary Ajay Shahani. Later he worked with chief secretary in Andhra Pradesh. Now he is heading my procurement. He says that Mr. Venkat's punctuality and unwavering commitment to attending every review meeting set a benchmark for discipline and professionalism. His leadership style was a balance of participative engagement and firm decision making, valuing open discussions while maintaining accountability through clear expectations. Yeah, last number. Unsick. You are still there only, sweet 16. Most important managerial skill, I wrote first one. Very first one for a reviewer is consultation. I think particularly Indian managers of today who are in the 30s, they don't believe much in consultation. Throughout my career, I have benefited greatly from consultants, both internal and external, with senior colleagues and external, with consultants, be it McKinsey, be it EY. These interactions provided invaluable opportunities to refine my ideas and reduce risks and catalyze change. So that's all the overview. The 5 key messages of the book very clearly. It is not about fault finding, first of all. Review process is not about fault finding. It's a collective problem solving mechanism where organization learns and grows. It's a phenomenal opportunity for learning and growing. Second message I wrote is, it is not merely an assessment tool. It is a catalyst for transformation, for fostering that culture of excellence, culture of continuous learning, culture of accountability. Third message is review is always disciplined, but relaxed also. Discipline and relaxing can go together. Review process nurtures a culture of continuous learning, collaboration, and efficiency. Last message is every review meeting is to distill complex, unclear issues to clear, actionable items. Throughout my 31 years, what I learned as a CEO is how to be simple, how to be humble, how to be honest. I learned fourth one, how to be humorous. Thank you so much. Say something for yeah. No problem.
Good evening, all. It's indeed a great pleasure to share the dais with Mr. Venkat Changavalli. And I think fantastic book he authored. He has simply said, he has made it very light by asking a few questions from few pages. But if you read through, it's so much of knowledge and in-depth. One of the important thing, I think he has also made the gist of the book. Reviews are not about fault finding. Rather, it is helping the team to find a solution, finding opportunities, finding way forward. So there are several kind of reviews. If you look at enervating reviews, where people are pulled in the meeting, kind of thing. Oh, boss goes and shouts at the kind of thing, the entire team for not achieving some small things, they'll be pulled off. Those meetings are dreadful. I think the subordinates will find it okay. Oh no, what will come? I don't know, kind of this thing. There are some meetings you will find with some of the leaders, great leaders, if you look at people would look forward to because they will learn something. They will get solution. That's very important. I think those leaders are always fondly remembered. And that's where the team is mentored. That's very, very important. So Venkat is one such leader who has mentored so many people, and they've also grown. He has mentioned only few. I would say that that's a lot of people who worked with him have gained much more. They have grown very well in their career, personally also in their lifespan. So I feel that this is a very, very important shift that one need to make. In my own thing, what I used to do is sometime reviews. Venkat used to say that the review end time, I don't know, because getting into depth, finding a solution. It's not about if you run against time, you will always find wanting. You will not be able to give your full. That's the reason. It's not about that. So that I think is a very important thing. But I have a slightly a shift, different thing. What I do, I ensure the time it completes, but I mark down those things. I said we'll have a separate time, dwell in depth, go on. I call them discovery sessions. So that way, what happens is that it very really helpful for us and the team. One thing very different is I call the people, the key members, and their second line, if possible, sometime even the third line. The discovery sessions are a great learning opportunities, and they come. You get to know the bottommost problem from people who are actually doing it, than immediately only from the top level. So very free environment you create, discuss and find out the kind of problems and opportunities. I think that serves as a great platform. And many times I felt it is an opportunity to course correct the strategies and also identify new opportunities or new growth strategies for future. So that is also one of the important things. That way, what happens is when you involve the second and third line, it's a great opportunity. In the process, I have seen the whole organization aligns well. So I used to, in the very early days, I used to call the sales team members review, monthly review for the state. when we had only had Tamil Nadu and so on. Monthly review, only the top level, you have limited impact. Said, okay, the next level. Finally, all the sales representatives, they come, it's okay to travel. Let's spend a day and understand what is the depth. 3-4 months down the line, huge change and transformation because they give so much of insights and problems at the ground level, you could able to change. So I would only say that I think whatever he has written is very much reinforcing. I learned a lot from him. Very early, when he was Simrise CEO, he came and said, CKR, I've read this book. I wanted to come and make a presentation to you and your team. I said, happily welcome. He talked about Southwest Airlines, how the kind of low-cost airlines, what's the strategy they adapted to win in the marketplace. That was a great session and a very eye-opener to us. And we said, okay, that's a lot of learning from there. Even today, I continue to talk about that Venkat now meeting, how Southwest Airlines has done very different things and continue to adapt that. So many years, almost 20 years back, 20 years plus. So thank you very much for such kind of 25 years, such kind of learnings. So I would only say that it's all about how well you minute action points, follow through is very important. Execution is all about follow through. The very, very important thing. And nowadays, the technology has come very handy. We use in our office Teams meeting invariably, even in one-on-one meetings. There is nobody on the other side. We said switch on the Teams and enable Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. Fabulous notes taker and very key point, clear follow through. I would say even a secretary won't do such a fantastic job. That I think is technology is nowadays is very, very handy. If you can make use of such kind of things, that would go a long way is my viewpoint. Thanks, Venkat. I think I would only urge, please read through page by page. If you embrace what he has stated, I think a sure recipe for a great success. And as he rightly said, you will be remembered for how many people you made a difference in their lives. And that's very important. At the end of the day, in your obituary, what matters is what you have done, what you are left with, that is very important. Then how much money you made, how much promotion you got, those are all list. Even when you retire, when you sit back and relax, you will enjoy not what money you made, but how many people's life you made a difference. That's what will come to you and give you the maximum satisfaction. So thank you very much. And I'm sure you will all go through and propagate this book for many people to read and subscribe it and give it to all your team members also to learn from. Thank you. Thank you, Venkat.
CKR bought one copy for his senior people, 200 of them, very first day itself, I remember, and made sure that they read down. The one point I want to clarify here, when you said touching lives, there are 4 people here whom I worked with in Simrise. In Simrise, Amar, Lakshman. Lakshman, just stand up, please. 91. He was office boy in Bangalore for me, serving coffee, tea. I brought him in 94 to Chennai. I remember 1st April 95. 1800 salary. And today, he's a customer service manager for Simrise. And getting award from customers like this for excellence. He became a graduate, postgraduate. He built his house there and brought his sons and daughters and one daughter from Vellore and whatnot. Touching a life, according to me, is this exactly. And I didn't ask any of my IIM guys, I asked him, please come and pick me up from airport. I want to spend time with you. I get phenomenal kick to spend time with people who are developed. Thank you. Same way Shankar. And Shankar used to be the secretary in 94 when I joined to Flavors guy, Ravi. And now today is a director with one of the fragrance flavor companies. And Anne was a fresh management trainee. I took her from Pondicherry Institute. And today she is working with Ganesh Chella in Coaching Foundation. Fantastic. It touched me really.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. First, my